because it's literally shoved in our faces, and we learn by example. Like as children, the primary way we learn is by what we see. So like Meg, if you go home and yell at your husband, your kids are going to learn to yell at their husbands or spouses or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like that is the biggest, most effective way that we learn, is we learn by watching. And what are we doing all the time? We are watching things. So we can say to ourselves, oh, this is fake. Oh, this is fake. Oh, this is fake. But we're still watching it. It's still getting in there. Like we are still absorbing it. So it's terrible.
So how do we, if you still feel like, okay, I can't walk away from this right now, how do we reframe the messages that we're seeing on these platforms to feel like less comparison, to decrease the comparisonitis of my life versus hers, or to decrease that feeling of I'm missing out if I'm not on this, I'm not going to be part of these conversations? What can we do to like minimize that desire?
Okay. So I have a lot of thoughts on this. The first thought is unfollow people. And I have a tendency to love to hate people. I know that's so bad, but like, do you sometimes like follow those people that like, you're really like, you don't love them, but you kind of just like, you got to unfollow them. Like, it's just not good for you. Like, just unfollow them. Those people that like annoy you, it's not doing you any good. Unfollow them. So that's the first thing. The second thing is consider the source, right? Like if Kim Kardashian is giving relationship advice, I don't want to take that. Like she doesn't seem, in like a stable place in her relationships. If somebody who is in like a healthy marriage that has been married for a long time and they both report being, healthy and happy, okay, maybe I'll listen to them. Like they might have some good stuff to say.
But also in that case, consider the source and consider the intention of the source. Are they trying to share something that is valuable as a way of providing some sort of information to you? Or are they gearing up for something that they are going to lure you into and use manipulative tactics to sell you? There are both around the internet. There are absolutely people who are like full of really great advice and who have ways to work with them that are healthy and that are thoughtful and that are intentional. And then there are people who are going to prey on your insecurities in order to make more sales.
And it's really like psychologically speaking, it's really, really unhealthy. I use fitness as an example a lot just because it's a really obvious example. And I think there's a lot of like fitness influencers out there. How many fitness influencers have admitted that they are in recovery from an eating disorder? A lot. How many of those influencers that are quote unquote in recovery from an eating disorder still have really, really disordered eating and unhealthy views on it? A lot. And so like, we also have to consider that too. Like if we're considering the source, if we're considering the intention, okay, they're not trying to I'm not trying to sell anything on Instagram. Like I'm a therapist. If you want to call my therapy practice, right now my schedule is kind of full, but I have a lot of therapists that I work with. Like, great, we can get you hooked up with somebody. And if you need help, but like, I'm not trying to sell anything. And I don't think it's necessarily, if people are trying to sell something, like I get it. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but like you said, how are they trying to do this? Are they trying to make you feel guilty? Are they trying to make, like, if you're looking at an influencer trying to sell something and you feel bad about yourself, that's a red flag. That is a huge red flag. If you're looking at an influencer, or even not an influencer, I'll say a business owner on Instagram, and you're like, oh, I just learned something that's interesting, I want to learn more. Great. But if you're like, oh, I feel bad about myself, I feel bad that what I've been doing hasn't worked, I feel bad, this, that, and the other thing, huge red flag. And with all these fitness, with what I was saying about the fitness influencers and eating disorders and this, that, and the other thing, we also have to understand, I don't want to say that we can't trust people, but like, we can't really trust people.
I was wondering wondering how you were going to work around that when I was like, no, it really is that you cannot trust people to tell the truth everywhere.